Okay, every man from the age of 18 plus will start to realize that life as a man is tough. Life is tough for both men and women in their own respective way. However, for men, there are three big struggles that every man will come to realize at one point in their life. Whether it's when they're 18 or 65, it doesn't matter. Eventually, you will come to realize these three big struggles. Number one, no one gives a fuck about you or your problems. Man, this is a hard pill to swallow, especially because a lot of people will try to say, oh, men's mental health is important and men's mental health awareness day and all. It's all bullshit. You realize that when you actually have a serious problem in your life and you try to express that, people will be quick to brush it off or really just show no interest or sympathy for you, especially women, because and this one's wild because they're the biggest advocates of men's mental health on social media, but that's all following the current trend and what's cool to do right now. In reality, you need a strong brotherhood with at least one other man or a group of brothers that are all aligned with similar mindsets and visions. These are people that you can rely on for good advice when you're going through something hard. Don't let anyone else tell you different, because for the most part, it's all a facade. People's words do not match their actions, and the actions are the only thing you should take seriously. Think about when there's a war going on. Men are the ones that get enlisted to go fight for their country, and women and children get to stay at home and stay cozy, while the men must endure the hardships of the war and either get killed, seriously injured, or by the grace of God come back home safely, but probably with PTSD or something. Now, I'm not saying that men going to war is wrong. I feel like they're the most capable of fighting compared to women and children, so it only makes sense. What I'm trying to point out is that as a man, you are putting your life on the line for this war, and nobody really cares. They only care about their own well-being, and sure, it's a cold world, dog eat dog type of world. But this is something that has been accepted over the course of humanity and probably will not change anytime soon. I want to highlight this as one of men's biggest struggles because if you don't come to this realization, then life can be pretty shitty. You'll often do things from the kindness of your heart and see that you are unlikely to ever receive any acts of kindness from people. Not that you should expect it, but still, it's sad to think about. You're often alone when it comes to dealing with problems. You need to come to terms with that as quick as possible and build a framework that works for you to solve your issues as they arise. Problems are inevitable, and once you understand that the fact that you are alone in this world, it becomes far more simpler to deal with them. Number two, the pussification of modern society is killing male role models. You remember when movies back in the day used to have the most grungiest heroes? Like movies like Scarface, Goodfellas, The Godfather. I know those are all mafia movies, but even the old James Bond movies used to go hard. Those movies had the hero or main character as a stern, stoic, well-dressed, well-put-together man, and he would often command respect from everyone in the movie, get the pretty woman, and just overall display masculinity at its peak. Nowadays, you have movies where the main character is a bumbling idiot or he happens to be gay or trans, which I'm not here to speak about that. You guys can hold your own opinion on it, but I favor the old movies because now modern society is slowly pussifying the men by feeding them weak-minded propaganda that is really teaching them to be pussies and not men. I think this is being done on purpose to weaken the military force moving forward, as well as stopping any sort of potential revolution from the working class, because men are obviously the only ones capable of revolting, even with the rise of pornography, which has become more prevalent in the last 15 to 20 years. It's making men soft and less likely to get out there and conquer their goals. Hundreds of years ago, men used to conquer land with their comrades, but now men are watching porn, eating like shit, and overall just living a sloppy lifestyle. The rise of social media has obviously caused men to be overall lazier as well. I'm aware that we live in a totally different society than we did 50 to 100 years ago. We have so many conveniences compared to before, which is definitely a good thing. However, it has brought along some new problems for society to deal with, and if men continue to get weaker, then humanity will certainly perish in the future. With all this being said, boys growing up now have no real role models because of the pussification of society. Their fathers have likely been beaten down by the system and unable to be good masculine role models for their son. And not to forget, single-parent households have been steadily rising for the last 30 years, and that means a lot of sons are growing up without a father or a suitable male role model. Now, I'm a little luckier in this sense because my father was a pretty disciplined father. He escaped a war when he was 16 years old, and he had to fend for himself for a majority of his life. He'd wake up, work, and always be stoic through it all. So growing up, I'm glad I had a strong father figure. He always taught me right from wrong and took care of the family as the number one priority. Of course, he was not perfect, but I'm grateful to have him as a father because he was the leader of our household. In comparison to one of my cousin's families, the wife runs that family and it's a complete shit show. The husband is a shell of himself because he's lost his frame, is not the leader of the house, and because of that, the children, aka my cousins, have grown up to be lost. One of them have gone down the super feminist route, and the son is in a similar situation where he's just getting ran by his wife. Listen, I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm merely stating that male role models are going extinct due to the pussification of society, and that will certainly lead to humanity's downfall. If you are a young man growing up right now, try to find disciplined men that you can look up to in places like the gym or martial arts. Hey, even some anime characters are better role models than most fathers nowadays. Like looking up to Goku growing up is a huge reason why I wanted to get fit. Obviously, real men are better than fictional ones, but man, whatever can help you align yourself with a proper mindset, then I suggest you going with that. Number 3, if you're not successful in some realm, then you are basically trash in society's eyes. This is also a super hard pill to swallow as you want to believe that everyone is equal, but this is simply not the case. If you cannot provide some sort of value to society or those around you, then people will slowly begin to treat you like trash. It's the cold hard truth of the matter. I've heard so many stories where a man will be married and everything would be going lovely up until he experiences a life-changing injury or whatnot and cannot provide at the same level that he has been doing so. At that point, most women will just up and leave because you can no longer provide for them. And listen, that's fair on their assessment because at the end of the day, they're just looking out for themselves. But damn, bro, it's just sad to think about because usually when the roles are reversed, the man will often stay and take care of the woman regardless of the severity of the situation. It's a cold, cold, cold world, man. This is something you must understand as soon as possible because if you walk through life without understanding this concept, then you're at a huge disadvantage. People will take advantage of you and you'll be left to rot at the end of the day. This happened to my father where when his business was doing well, everyone would love and respect him. In fact, a lot of people depended on him financially and would often have their hands out. Once my father's business started to do poorly, then everyone disappeared and not a single person that he had helped before came to help him. This was a cold lesson I had to learn through watching this because my father has a good heart. And like most men, they're like my father, where they have good hearts. But society only views you as important when you have something of value to offer. And when you don't, you're treated like trash. Now, everything that I'm saying up until this point is generalizations. And for the most part, this is how the world operates based on my own life experiences up until this point. What you do with this information is completely up to you guys. You guys can disagree or agree. That's all part of the conversation. But let me know what you guys think of what I went over today. A lot of controversial things were said, but it's based off my life experience, and I'm curious to see what you guys think and maybe share an example from your lives in the comment section below. Anyway, as always, thank you guys for watching and stay frosty, my friends.